musical journey is the equivalent of all my prayers, always answered even when there are times that God's response was no or not yet. I always think about the many surrenders I had to do so that I can make way for better things to come my way. And what a freeing feeling that actually brings. Let me tell you a story too good to be true, yet it happened to me. That flight to London will always be my favorite part of that trip, and trust me, I had a lot of amazing times there. But being on that plane, I remember it so well. It was dark inside and everybody seemed to be asleep. I was in the middle of listening to worship songs and spending time with God because I still couldn't believe how I was about to go to such a historical country to make music and to record my own songs. Speaking to Him gave me so much comfort, and there was a moment where in my silent prayer, I asked God to give me an extraordinary experience. Something I felt like, in a worldly perspective, would be too impossible. But there I was, with childlike faith, with my hopeful and silly heart. I asked God for a shooting star. Somewhere in the midst of that, I kinda got embarrassed for asking such a request. I immediately took a step back and asked, Lord, sumusobra na ba ako? And that's it. My first ever supernatural encounter. A shooting star appeared. It looked like a little white firework, larger, slower, and longer than the usual. It was so clear and I felt God answer. You are never too much. Right before my eyes, it left a tiny sparkle before it finally faded into sight. I began to cry and look around to see whether others saw it too. But they were all sound asleep. That changed something in me. That miracle gave me peace, assurance, and joy in knowing and being certain that I am not alone in this. It was a confirmation that I am doing the right thing, that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is what He wants for me. The Go Signal. Out of all the producers I've had the pleasure of working with, no matter how hard it got for me to make a decision, I knew I just had to do it. There was this uncomfortability of having to choose only one, and also this comfort of knowing that I didn't have to make a choice based on who was the best, because all of them obviously are the best at what they do. But at the end of the day, the basis of my ultimate decision lied in the fact of who I thought was right for the sound and direction that I was looking for in this season. Hello, so the producers are telling me that we should use this whiteboard and just put everything in here, like the plans for the day and everything. It's just so we'll be able to finish more things. Let's go. So what I'm gonna do is start here. Chasing Fantasia brought the best out of this album, and they helped me go through the process of figuring out what I really wanted. They were there to guide and to put things into perspective, which I really appreciated. The first 3 days in the studio were so crucially important because during those times were where we were going to plan how our next 3 weeks are going to go. We had to plot out our schedules to make sure we'd be able to work on all of the songs and have enough time to polish them together.
So, okay, you go first.
We didn't want to
You want me to go
have
first?
unproductive days, so we really thought about how we were going to spend all the time that we had to work on all of
Down
them.
to land again for the down part, but by the end of the song,
So I agree with.
First step was I sang all of the songs so Rusty and Tristan could hear them live and potentially build them up by them writing down their ideas for each song.
even play some of the
What amazed me even more with Chasing Fantasia's take on building a song was that they'd always try to push the limits in terms of the key or even the tempo.
I could come up with a million excuses. I'm only scared that it wouldn't be enough. So go on, go on, go on, go on, go on.
They made me try them in lower and higher keys, also in faster and slower tempos to get the feel and the right vibe of the songs.
I don't need another distraction. Keep going in your direction. Go on. I could come up with a million excuses.
And especially to bring my vocal performances to their full potential.
A bit nippy there, lads.
23. Hello. Hello.
Easy.
You're right.
Oh my gosh, you got that again.
Yeah.
Hindi pa naririnig ba nga? Oo, totoo.
Baguio has always been a huge part of my career. This is where I recorded my very first album back in 2015. I've spent a lot of my getaways here, either it's for work or vacation or holiday, you name it. This place is my second home, and somehow I already found a family and my friends here.
Let's have it on the speakers. Softly.
Shad became one of my closest friends when I posted on our FB group in SoundCloud Philippines to ask for help to record my first album. I took a shot at asking whether there was any producer willing to extend a helping hand, and he was one of the many amazing people who commented. I know it was also one of God's ways to get me to where I am now, because I've been working with Shad ever since. This is also the main reason why I never wanted to record anywhere else but here. I had the choice to decide whether to go back to London or go to Baguio and have Chasing Fantasia fly to the Philippines to record Ready Let Go. No matter how much I love the idea of recording in an amazing country such as London, a bigger part of my heart belongs to this city. Part of our early days in the studio was choosing the right mic to use for the entire album. It was Rusty's idea because they brought this huge blue capsule mic and it was so ridiculous that I never even knew, although I should have, that choosing the right mic that would suit your voice best is super important too. I always thought that it was just as simple as thinking that if it's a good mic, it's a good mic.
Kind of shy. 'Cause I've been here before. I don't wanna. Oh, fight just a little bit more. I'm prepared to beat this war. As long as I'm right here, right next to you.
Right Next to You is a song I wrote in 2018. Before I met my husband, I was a no boyfriend since birth kind of girl. It wasn't the easiest to wait, especially when you feel like you're running out of time. Sounds too dramatic, but I really felt that way for a long time. So this song was kind of a reminder and a hope that maybe someday God will make it happen for me. I've always been such a hopeful romantic, which is why I always write songs about love being found. The kind of love that lasts.
I love it. What? It's so different, but it's sweet.
As long as I'm here right next to you.
And then obviously you kind of like building the soul.
love it.
Back in Globe Elements 2018, I almost submitted this song as an audition piece, but I somehow felt like it wasn't the right time. And now it makes so much sense why. This song belongs to my second album.
She's very difficult to work with.
Yeah, extremely difficult.
She's a diva. She's totally a diva. No, kidding. Totally. Yes, okay, peanut gallery. No, she's... Don't speak too loudly because... No, she's awesome. She's cool. Amazing. And pretty girl.
Pretty
There we
girl.
go.
Very pretty girl.
Very... Knows what she wants, but totally open to ideas. Hey, which is just amazing because a lot of people come into studio with like a preconceived idea of how it must be and their sound's got to be like this and do the, and it's just so nice that it's like
it's refreshing because you like having certain artists in studio and you're busy creating something literally from scratch. The first thing that they listen to, they often from a feel point of view will go, oh, that doesn't sound that great, or that doesn't feel so well. But you know, as us producers, we kind of have the end vision in mind, and it takes patience and sort of like some time to actually craft that sound to get it to a point where it will sound good. And she's been very open and trusting that process to actually getting there. So it's been pretty good.
Tried to cover up for so long. Hid between the lines of every song. But I'm ready to go now. I'm lost, but I know where I wanna be.
So many things come to mind whenever I say ready, let go. There's so much freedom in those words, and there's also so much surrender in them. When I wrote this song, I just knew right away that it was going to be the album title. It's weird though that I don't exactly remember the detail of the very moment, but I just know that I've been very excited to start a new season by bringing this record to life. Ready, Let Go is like a declaration song, and it's my brave song to let people know I get scared too. That I felt like people only knew my music, but there was a little barrier that held us back in getting to know where all the music's coming from. That's why the first verse goes like, I've tried to cover up for so long, hide between the lines of every song. All that takes me to confess my vulnerability as an artist, and that's why this song is the actual title of the second record. It is to honor the season that I am in, and to be honest, that's always been the goal. Whenever I produce or write an entire album, it's always within the dream of honoring and telling exactly what my truth and story is. Being in the middle of a pandemic where so much is happening, there was a need of a huge leap of faith into the unknown for my team and I to release the album. I honestly was so scared because there was no guarantee any of this was going to be successful in terms of numbers. I mean, for a time I was really thinking that there was just no way that with the pandemic happening, this album would even get released. Not sooner anyway. But for some reason, everyone in the team was beyond excited and proud of what we've created here, that they wanted to make it happen. And that's when I got reminded of that beautiful shooting star. Didn't I already get a go signal? Wasn't it very clear from the start that all I had to do was show up and everything will be taken care of? Yes, it was a shot in the dark. But then again, this album is also a light in the dark.
perfect. Here we go.
Oh, fight just a little bit more. I'm prepared to beat this war. as long as I'm right here, right next to you. Love is what we're fighting for, something real and something sure. I'm not worried as long as I'm here right next to you. I found home when I found you, a little ray of light that shines right through. I felt hope when God gave me you, a simple miracle, a dream come true. Oh, let's hold on to this, hold on to this. Our story's more than just a promise. We are in for a long ride, with nothing to say and nothing to hide. I've never been more sure, now that I'm here right next to you.